Won't make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo won't make a kill.
I can say it now. Welcome back to the Podium podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host Aramis.
You could say what? I was scared.
Nah, well, I was, welcome back.
Yeah,
I started saying that yesterday on
Coach
Coach D's
D's
Corner.
You should have started singing the welcome back. Like, never mind, we ain't gonna do that. That's too soon. 40 Keys, everybody. How y'all doing?
All right, well, if y'all feeling as good as I am, y'all having a great Friday. Key is not, however, but we gonna cheer him up. We got some fun stuff going on, but listen, this is our opportunity to get back to our roots, our post-podium podcast roots. We're going to start with a little segment that we haven't started with in a while.
I'm very glad.
Really?
I'm very glad because I got some piss for some cornflakes in my stuff we heard.
All right, well, before we get to stuff we heard, we got some producer cues, bro.
I know.
When's the last time we heard producer cues? Probably
a
a few weeks, but we got the producer with us tonight.
All right, so this is just it's somewhat of a question, but it's just like, what would you rather prefer kind of question.
Okay. Would you rather?
We know that the Bills is known for what exactly?
The Bills?
Right now?
Yeah, like what are they known for as a play type? Like defense,
Everybody
offense?
eats?
Yeah, right now it's everybody eats.
Okay, so
Which, surprisingly, the Texans have been saying the same thing. All right, my bad. I ain't gonna ruin it.
I wonder why. There's a little petty over there.
Okay, all right. Come on.
all right, so I want you guys to pick a play, and what strategy would you use when you're facing, and I'm gonna say the Chiefs. So let's say you're facing the Chiefs, and it's third down. You're at the 4-yard line, and you have 10 seconds, and it's 24-25. You need 1 point to win the game.
Oh, you got to make it more interesting than that.
Okay.
One point. I'm kicking the field goal.
So you saying no? I think that's where you're going. So you saying kicking field goals, but now we got Tyler Bass. So are you saying we should be scared?
But you at the 4-yard line.
We still got Tyler Bass. I'm not saying it's me. I'm not saying that's me. Tyler, I'm not talking. Hey, you my guy. You're not on my fantasy team this year. Not one of the 7. However,
all you want.
next year you might be able to get back on there.
But this is without the kicking though. This is about it's either throwing or running.
So let's say we're down by 4. We got to get a touchdown.
Okay.
No field goals allowed.
Tyler, you're off the hook.
You're down. You're down by 4. You have to pick which play are you running, and are you throwing or you're running in order to win the game.
I'm not running inside the 4. The Buffalo Bills offensive line hasn't shown an ability yet to push the pile that close to the line. We saw them try that against the Jaguars, didn't work out. Excuse me. I think we saw something similar to that against the Cardinals. That didn't work out either. Actually, no, it did work out against them. Yeah, but the Cardinals their defensive line is not great. Mm-hmm. The Jaguars have a much better defensive line. It didn't work against them. So I'm not confident in that. What I am confident in, however, is, man, take it back to the 90s and just do the leap. Just everybody just pile up and you just jump over. Just Josh Allen just jump over everybody.
He'd be around for that.
You know what I'm saying? Like run it from the shotgun. But man, as soon as you hike that ball, everybody just pile in and Josh jump over everybody. That's it. Game over. How you stopping that?
Okay, I could go with that. But let me add something to that. I'm faking the jump.
You doing some Will Levis stuff right now. You know that, right?
I'm gonna fake the jump, right?
In mid-air. What are you
doing?
No?
No. It's gonna be a play action.
What?
Yeah,
What?
It's gonna be a rollout. We gonna fake the handoff,
Oh my
and your
God.
man gonna hop over like this here, and like in Little Giants, he was like no first, he's like no ball, and then Josh Allen scrambles over to the right, Dalton Kincaid right in the back corner of the zone, touchdown! Bills win the Super Bowl. That's how I wanted to go down.
Well, they can't beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Oh, you said the Chiefs. That's right.
Yeah.
I just got excited with my
AFC
rollout.
Bills are going to the Super Bowl. Fair
Nah,
enough.
this is Super Bowl.
But that's a lot for 4 yards, bro. That's a lot of work for 4 yards.
See, that's what they expect. They think you won't do it because it's too much work. They're gonna be piling on there. And pile right on there, scramble to the right side.
Wow.
Touchdown.
Wow.
And McDermott, yes, Rich. McDermott will be the coach of the year because he finally did it. He finally did it. Something that no other coach could ever do. Win a Super Bowl for the Bills. It's my dream. I can have that.
Yeah. Yeah. You take that home with you and put it back in your sleep.
You know what? I'm gonna try to figure out how to do it on Madden.
You better not. You better
I'm gonna do it on
not.
22.
Huh?
I'm doing it on Madden 22 because you used to be able to do that on Madden. Remember,
I
you
think
could.
that's the last one I had too.
Yeah, we need to get it cracking.
Yeah.
We gotta create people. But remember, you used to be able to do it. You could fake the handoff when they would dive over. It might have been college, but I remember you used to. No, it was Madden. I'm positive. Yeah.
You talking
could-
about the oh my gosh, what is that play called? The
You talking about
read
the fake
option?
dive?
Read option?
Yeah, it could be a read option. You could do that, but it was a play act. You could do a play action too.
And
it-
where
and the guy where he would dive over. He would.
so you couldn't actually pull it out if it was play. Well, yes,
No.
you could. Yes, you could. Play action. Yeah, that's what play action is.
Yeah.
Duh.
So it was. Yeah. It was. You had no control over it, but that's what it was. So.
Right.
I mean, I was thinking how you were talking, and the offensive line, the right side, I would feel a little better about and run.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had, so
I'm fine if he even did it there because everybody's going to be expecting him to come straight on.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're gonna be piling right down
Yeah.
the A gap.
I'm cool with that. Shoot, dive over the right
it
side of the
wins.
line. Dive over Cybo and Spence, and you good.
Just hoist them up and walk him in.
He just jumps on James Cook's shoulders and James Cook
that would
runs
be
him up.
that'd be even better.
No way.
If it was James Cook of all people,
why did I even
James
say
Cook of all
anything?
people carries him in. Now everybody can kind of put that in their pipe and smoke it. Think about it.
And then he'll pop up. Look, no hands.
Yep. And then they hoist him
He
up
already don't have no hands.
over his shoulder only.
Yeah. Okay.
He still doesn't have a recorded drop. So,
Right.
so forget it.
A recorded drop.
There's no recorded drop. It didn't happen.
What?
Hey.
Wait a second. That drop didn't get recorded?
Hey, men lie, women lie, wives lie, husbands lie, numbers don't.
No,
The numbers are zero. No
is-
drops.
Nope.
Timothy Cook still, it's
Nope.
it's still there.
Nope. Nope.
Timothy, our Cook.
Numbers lie. You know why?
Why?
Terrence Howard says 0 is not a number.
Terrence Howard lied. You know what?
Terrence Howard did not lie.
Ain't anybody talk like this, man.
No.
You lying.
No. If you
Oh,
actually
no,
go
man.
and you watch, so after the episode that he was on Joe Rogan where he talked about that, he came on another episode with an actual scientist.
Neil
And-
deGrasse?
Huh?
Was it deGrasse?
No, it wasn't Neil deGrasse.
Okay.
Neil
He was on with his
deGrasse
thing.
basically blew him off. Like Neil deGrasse was like, yo, I ain't even bothering with this.
Did you hear
dude.
this fool
Like,
said?
if he ain't got no peer review, I don't even need to
I
talk.
don't
about
want to talk no man talk like this, man.
it. He don't actually talk like that.
I don't know what he talking like no more, man. After Hustle and Flow, it messed them all up.
You
didn't it?
violating, bro. You violating.
Hustle and Flow messed them all the way up.
No, it didn't.
After that, he started talking like that. He never stopped. No, look, put your hands on the wheel, man.
But that's not how he actually talk. Have you seen the podcast?
I'm saying after Hustle and Flow, that's all you know him for. That's why.
Well,
shoot.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Well, no, because he was supposed to be War Machine. He was War Machine. In
He
the
was.
first
But
movie,
see,
essentially.
you forgot for a second. You said supposed to be because you're thinking about doing from Hustle and Flow.
No, he got into some kind of trouble. He was telling the story on Joe Rogan, so he got into some kind of trouble after. Actually, no, I don't know if he got in trouble with that movie, but there was something contractual where he was asking for more money and they didn't want to pay him, so they brought on Don Cheadle.
Like this in the first one, and then Cheadle was in the second.
Yeah,
one.
Cheadle was Cheadle got to wear the suit. Like
Yeah.
Terrence Howard never got to wear the suit.
Terrence
He
Howard just got to stand there.
Yeah, it's just
My
somehow
name
he
is
got
Lucius, man.
a very serious tan and a
Yeah,
not so great
Yeah.
haircut.
Right.
And turned into Don Cheadle. Anyway, we got
See what
stuff
producer
here.
Q's do?
Huh?
See what producer Q's do?
Yeah, they tear up the whole show.
I love it.
Yeah, I hope you love it too, June.
Well, I do.
As long as I don't see that subscriber number go, I'm good.
Wow.
I don't want to see go this. I don't want to see do that. So as long as it does this, hey, you ask all the questions you want.
Right. All
If
right,
I
let's get.
see one number drop, I'm coming for you.
Oh man, it's your fault. We coming for you. Anyway,
What I do?
You made the numbers drop. it's your
Right.
fault.
No, my fault. I'm
Oh,
saying
it's all the way your fault.
All the way.
I'm making the show exciting. Little
You
bit.
made it liver than what it was?
Producer
I guess.
cues.
You keep thinking that. No, I'm joking.
Wow.
So, do you want to know what grinds my gears? What actually it doesn't grind my gears. It just kind of goes into something that I like to talk about, and you're tired of hearing about it, but I got to talk about it because it's roosting again.
Okay.
It's resurfacing.
Okay.
College. You heard about UNLV?
Is this something to do with the transfer portal?
NILs, transfer portal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's being
Why
destroyed.
can't you just let these kids be kids, man?
I am. And that's why. No, and I'm glad you said that.
Okay.
Because you know what happened, right? The quarterback?
No.
He decided he's going to forego the season.
Huh?
Yeah, he said, I'm not playing it. He played 3 games. I ain't playing no more.
Why?
Because he didn't get the $100,000 that was promised to him.
Well, that's fair.
No, it's not.
Why not?
Because it's a business, right?
Yeah.
So was it in writing? No. Did you have a lawyer look over the contract that was written betwixt you and the person that promised you $100,000? No. I can promise you anything I want. I don't care about you no more because guess what? You're my employee.
Yeah, but there are certain levels of court where a handshake agreement is still valid.
If I told your dad, and nobody heard me say it, if you were on my field and I said, I'll get you $100,000, you're a coach. You're not even in authority to say anything like that.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
So
And
the
so
coach
now-
said to him,
So the coach said, yeah, we'll get you a $100,000 NIL deal. Okay, cool. Never got the money. His dad. See, this is the kick. You want to be a man? That's why I'm glad you said these are kids. You want to be a man? You want to play a man's game? Learn man rules. You never agree to nothing unless it's in writing.
yeah, but so if he was in a position where he had no leverage, yeah, he'd be stuck. He had to play. But he does have leverage
He
because
got leverage. Now he's not playing. But the point
that's
is,
what I'm saying. I think that's fine.
I mean, I don't care. They're just going to replace him. I
Yeah.
mean, which is fine. Do you know who the quarterback for UNLV is?
No.
Exactly. I don't either.
Right.
He's nobody. So you were promised $100,000. You're now not playing for anybody to get exposure. You're probably a junior or senior. Shador Sanders out there doing this thing. You got Rioli over at Wisconsin or Nebraska doing this thing.
Yeah.
And you're chilling. My point is this. This is where I'm going with this. My point is when you enter these kind of variables. For instance, when I was my mom, I wish she was here. When I was 11 or 12, I had 3 guys offer to be my agent.
Okay.
My mom was like, "Hell no, get out of my face. Don't talk to my son no more."
Okay.
Because they just wanted a piece of the pie.
Right.
So by being represented by your parent, which is what this kid did, the dad told him don't play because they didn't give you your money. I'm not agreeing to anything until I get legal counsel. I need an agent. And when I'm dealing with that kind of money, I need an agent because I need a contract. I need to see it. And there's even at the wage I make, which is what I make, I'm not gonna listen to you say you're gonna pay me this unless I have a contract in hand. Because you can change anything you want. I never said that. If nobody heard you say it.
But when did you first learn about this lesson in life?
When I first learned about it?
How old were you?
Young, very young. Because of sports.
Roughly how old?
13.
13?
13.
Okay. So every year before 13, if somebody were to tell you, I'll give you $100,000 if you quit this team and come play on mine, you probably would have said yes, right?
I mean, at 12, actually, he said, I'm going to give you $50. I'm going to do it.
Right.
But
So
my-
all I'm saying, I get what you're saying. I totally understand. And you're right. You're right. In the real world, he's got to eat that, right? But realistically, because he's got leverage, that kind of changes things, right? But what I'm saying is, if nobody told him that, all he has is his own mind, which, I'm sorry, any kid that hears any large amount of money to do something that they already love to do, that's an opportunity for them, they're going to say yeah to that. They're going to agree to that. And if they don't get it, morally he has standing, but legally he doesn't. And I think that's like that. So that's part of the reason why I have some empathy for him, because somebody at the school, the coach, probably did say that.
Oh, I believe he did.
Right.
I believe it.
But because the kid can't legally enforce what the coach said, he's out. You know what I'm saying? And me personally, I would never teach Junie or teach Ray or teach Allie, You got to just suck it up. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the first thing I would teach him is you got to watch out for stuff like that and protect yourself. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then if something happens like that, you take action. But if I never told that to Junie and he came home and he told me about it, the first thing I would not tell him is, well, that's your fault. That's on you. You supposed to, you know what I'm saying? You supposed to not take nobody's promise for granted. You supposed to make him put it. He didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I guess in a sense, I don't want to beat up on the player, and I'm not saying we are, but I don't want anybody else to beat up on the player for something that he clearly didn't understand.
And that's the thing, you know, and that's why I say when you want to play men's games,
yeah,
you have to play men's games. And like you said, if I was 12, I'm a little kid, you know, that's shame on y'all. But at this point, I'm not saying that him personally, because I know his dad was a major influence, and that's even worse. When you're somebody's guardian and you don't have a wherewithal to say, we need to have this checked out first.
That's a problem.
You know, at that point, you know, if I'm talking about money, I'm getting me an agent.
Right.
I need somebody to look at. I don't care if it's a family lawyer. Just look at this. You know, what should I do?
Yep.
Because obviously he went to go to school. I'm thinking for an education. And my thing is, do these people even go to school anymore? Do they even go to class? No. I don't think
so. I think that's part of the NIL deal. Is like,
right.
Look, we'll pay somebody to take on
just
your
take on your classes for you. As long as they get a 3.0, you're good to go.
That's it.
Yeah, and I think that's just the biggest thing. And also, you know, the running back decided he played 3 games. He's just going to forego and redshirt now, and enter the portal.
He's a freshman?
I don't even know. He's not a freshman. But I know he said he's going to forego.
So the transfer portal allows these players to basically just
opt out whenever you
red shirt or opt out whenever they want to do what, to leave the school?
To leave the school.
Okay. Well, I'm okay with it.
I mean, that part doesn't.
Like if they were doing that to just stay and like stay at the same school, but because they had competition they didn't want to have, or because they were worried about their draft position or something like that. Like
that's usually,
right.
But that's usually what it is. That's usually why they decide to opt out.
Okay.
So draft positions go. The team may have not been, you know, but it's UNLV.
Right. Nobody's paying attention to that school anyway.
They're not paying attention. So you're like, okay, I'm playing 3 games. We're 0-3. We'll say.
Right.
You know what? I quit on the team. I'm going to enter transfer portal and try again. Some people look at that. You want to go to the league, they're going to look at that. What does his character? What would McDermott say? You're not going to Buffalo, I guarantee that.
No.
Oh, you gave up? Nah, can't do it.
Transfer portal. What?
No. Nah. You know, you didn't. So did you wrestle?
Yeah,
you didn't wrestle
that's
either.
the only way they're going to get in.
You didn't wrestle either? Nah, I can't do it. I can overlook a lot of things, but you didn't wrestle. Oh, boy.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
But yeah, I think that got me. I'm not even worried about the amount of money. I'm not even worried. But it's just, at this point in time, when you're talking about money, and you're talking about a business, all feelings, all care, all, you know, I sent my son to college to get education. I sent my son because you're going to look out for him. They don't care about that. Especially at UNLV where you stink, probably. Just get the backup quarterback, throw him in there, we'll finish stinking.
See what thinking gets you out on the field, son.
Right. Does he have his helmet on backwards? It's going to be a long season, son.
Right. Roy says Sluka was not considered an NFL prospect. He'll play at some other college next year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. The thing for me is, these college players, if they have no NFL prospects, right? If they know they're not getting drafted, and usually they'll know, you know, by the time they get to college whether or not they got a shot. You know what I'm saying? And then it's up to them to either make their way or try and, you know, do something that gets them noticed. But most of the time, if they get to college and they're told this is about as high as you're gonna go, man.
Damn it! They told me I was getting $100,000, and like Roy says, I'm not a college prospect or NFL prospect. I need it in writing because I don't trust
That's
you.
what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going, because like you have to know this $100,000 is all I'm getting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I got to do my best to be the best college player I can be to maybe get another NIL deal the next season. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that is the onus on the player. You gotta be able to be logical enough to hear what's said about you and try your best to do something about it and improve yourself, and then B, protect yourself while you're in the moment. You know what I mean? If you know you're going for NIL, everything needs to be in writing. Hopefully there's some young athletes that are hearing this for the first time and you have now learned something and we've helped you.
Yes, sir.
So
I've been there. I can tell you firsthand. I've been there. I haven't been undercut because I didn't get high enough to get. They didn't have NILs when I was in college and high school, but I didn't get high enough to even see that part. But the introduction to it, and I know how gritty it is. How if you do this for me, I can get you this. I can get this look. I can have this. Don't listen to none of it.
Yeah.
Don't listen to none of it. Only people you trust.
all right, so to bone his legs. What's going on, brother? What's going on, Billy D? I see you in there too. He said he finally made it today, but he's asking a question. He said, "Oh, if we talking about college, how y'all feel about Miami Hurricanes?
I love them.
You love them?
Oh, I always hated Miami, but this year,
I've really only been watching whoever Michigan is playing.
yeah, no, Cam Ward. They got I forget it's a wide receiver, a slot wide receiver who I really love. They got a team. They got a team. I really like watching them play.
Nice. Okay. Lindsay says, "Hey fellas, I'm interested in this signs episode. Yeah. It's gonna be good.
Signs episode?
Yeah. How did we miss the signs? Is the title of this episode.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Roy asks, who controls NIL payments? Is it the schools or some third party? Not sure how all that works.
Honestly, I don't either. I hated it so much I never researched it. I'll look it up for you, Roy. Trust me, I will look it up for you right now. While we go, we can move on, but Roy, I'll get an answer for you.
Oh, Lindsay goes Canes, baby.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you.
Right. She said it's the only Miami team she'll root for. Yeah.
You saved yourself there.
Yeah.
I was getting worried.
So following up on stuff we heard, I did say on Tuesday that if you keep throwing that many footballs at Malik Nabers, you're going to get him killed.
You know what? I was hoping you weren't going to go there first. I thought you were going to first acknowledge the fact that this dude's a certified beast and then say you're going to get him killed.
Is. Yeah. Listen, for him to be 6'3" and be able to move like he moves, like it's unbelievable. It really is. He has to be the most physically gifted wide receiver in the NFL right now. Yeah. He has to be. I can't say best because if you say best, then you got to include hardware and all that other stuff. But he's the most physically gifted wide receiver in the NFL right now, hands down. But again, we saw exactly what I was worried about happening to Nabers. They're in the final drive of the game. They're trying to score a touchdown. And he tries to make a play for his team and ends up busting his head open. So, if you were...
Was he really bleeding?
No, he wasn't bleeding. It's a concussion.
I ain't get to watch. No, I ain't get to watch this. I want to watch this. So you can talk, but... Okay.
I like hyperbolic words.
I'm good with that. Okay. I was like, oh, no.
Right, exactly. That's what I want, baby. But let me ask you this really quick as you research and divert your attention to me.
Go ahead.
What as a coach, not even as a coach, as an owner, how would you handle that situation knowing, or you know what, take it down to the GM level. How would you handle that? Because obviously this dude is the best shot you got to move the ball on offense. Him and Wan'Dale Robinson totaled out for 29 targets between the two of them, which means you had no run game and you had no other options at wide receiver that were doing anything.
Lock Rain texted me last night. I can't stand the fact we had Devin Singletary. I said, ha, ha, ha. Now you know what I be talking about all the time. But no, it's a tough road. It's like it's weird. And Roy, I'm sorry, but I'm going to touch on it just for a second. It's like when I asked you last week about what should I do about my safety slot on I'm like, how long is it going to? I think they said he has like 10 days before the next game anyway. Yeah, so you could, make it through concussion protocol in 10 days. Usually you will.
Yeah, usually. I mean, there's players that make it through in a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got to lessen his load. You definitely, even if he's on the field, you got to lessen his load.
Yeah.
At least for the next game or two. Be strategic.
Yeah.
But you have, I don't understand why they don't get Hyatt more involved. If you got Malik Nabers out there getting all that attention. And this is why when people talk about taking the top off a defense, it's just rubbish to me because you got a guy like Jalen Hyatt who all he does is just run fast that way. And they don't throw him the ball for nothing. So it's a double-edged sword. But what I would definitely do is I don't think I would invest any resources or anything into another player just yet until I see how far along he can come in a reasonable amount of time to practice for the next game.
Okay. For me, I think I would have to have a conversation with the coach because and this is probably the biggest reason why I really feel like if they have a bad season this year, which it looks like they will, they're 1-3. Dayball's gonna get fired. I don't think there's another head coach that I can think of that's in a worse. Well, actually, Eberflus might be.
He's gonna stay.
You think so?
They should have fired him last year. I don't understand why they didn't. Everybody thought he was going. They extended the man, so I don't know what they're doing.
I mean, it was probably his last shot.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, this is probably his last shot. So I think both of those coaches will go. But with Dayball, with the Bills, he wasn't able to get a run game going. Now, part of that we kind of justified and blew off as well. We never had a good investment in the offensive line and all that. But I think now we're seeing they don't invest in their offensive line in New York
Or a good running back.
And
he doubles down and goes get the guy that we had here to say he was hampered by. So that tells you he liked him.
Exactly.
So that's damning information for me, Dayball.
Right.
You were my guy after a while, but now I don't know.
Right. It really makes Dayball look like he's just a passing game coordinator at this point.
Yep.
If you cannot put together a good run game to marry your excellent passing game, then how good are you really? So for me, I think it really comes down to having a conversation with the head coach and like, look, this is our weapon for multiple years, not just for you to save your job.
Right.
So you're not going to keep throwing him 20 balls a game and trying to win games just on his back alone. I need him even when you're gone. And if you don't win the regular way by having a balanced attack and using all of the pieces that I paid for, then you out of here, bruh.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is, So yeah, I mean that to me was kind of distressing seeing, and the thing is I fell asleep. Like I started watching the beginning of the game, I fell asleep, and I heard about the injury this morning. You know what I mean? And as soon as I heard about it, I'm like, I tried to tell him. Right. I tried to tell him.
Yeah, I think Michael Parsons is down too.
Yeah, he's got an ankle.
Yeah. So that's my fantasy season.
No.
I mean, he wasn't really doing anything anyway. So
nah, you still got a good shot in this game. I
one of them at least somewhere.
Yeah, well, you beat me last week in our other.
I'll take that.
League. Yeah.
I'll take it and frame it because it's probably not going to happen too often. So I have an answer for Roy real quick. An NIL deal can be initiated by several parties. Athletes, they can proactively seek out NIL deals by reaching out to businesses, attending network events, or leveraging their social media presences. Businesses can, especially local businesses around college campuses, often approach athletes to promote their products or services. NIL collectives, these are the groups of wealthy donors or organizations formed to support athletes at specific schools. They play a significant role in initiating and facilitating NIL deals. Agents or representatives. Agents! Wow. Athletes may have agents or representatives who negotiate and secure NIL deals on their behalf. Wow, not their parents. Go figure. This is mind-blowing stuff. So, Roy, to answer your question, there is a bunch of different ways you can solicit NIL deals. Yep. These are just 4 of the ways that they listed in front of me, but I'm sure there are more creative ways to do so. But yeah, there's no specific cap on money. Whatever they want to pay you, they can. As obvious, evident by our guy Shador Sanders, who has a smart, a Cyber truck, the Rolls Royce truck.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter has a $1 million home that he bought with his girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
House is humongous.
Wow, $1 million house.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna get paid by the NFL. Anyway.
He's gonna get paid.
He's going to.
You see what Richard Sherman said about him?
No.
He said he's bland as a wide receiver.
I could see that.
I'm like, dude, you right. You just called the best player on that team bland at the best position. I mean, I'm not saying I can't see it, but the fact that you just smacked him in his face right then and there at the height of his thing. Oh man, that's
what
tough.
You expect a corner to do?
That's tough.
Ain't no corner in the world gonna be like, that's a good receiver.
I mean, somebody got to do it.
I can't see.
That's tough. Richard Sherman, though, yo, he's bland. Dang.
Yeah. No, but I mean, if he really wants to make.
My phone, you good?
Oh, okay. If he really wants,
he didn't care about nothing. If it was my phone, he like,
right,
you good?
Sound like equipment falling. Wait a minute. If he really wants to get paid and have a long career in the NFL, I truly think it's going to be as a corner. because with his hands and his athleticism and his understanding of being a
wide receiver.
Yeah, being a wide receiver, I think that'll give him a leg up on the competition. You know what I'm saying? There's too many wide receivers that are coming in that are used in very specific ways for him to just, bust on the scene and be the next Malik Nabers. I don't see him as being that. I think he's good, but I'd have to see more.
I think he's gonna go whichever way he can be projected the highest. So obviously your guy Will Johnson's coming out. Yeah, he's probably number one.
He's
not number one.
He might be number one overall. No, listen.
I mean, he could
people. Be. There are people.
I've seen him projected, but you know how that. This is still early. So I mean, when I say number one, I mean he's number one cornerback. But your boy Travis Hunter's probably sitting there like, you know what? I'm not gonna get that top 3 pick at a cornerback spot. So if I get that top 3 at wide receiver, I'm doing that. We're 40-year-old men sitting here talking logically. We just got pissed off by the guy who thought he was going to have it made with a $100,000 NIL deal. So I think that's how he's thinking, and you're probably right. In the long run, it's going to pay off as cornerback. But I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Roy said I was busy being bad to get any NIL deal if they were still available back in the early '80s.
No, they ain't have them. They ain't have them. Because if I had to fill out that pen, that little booklet thing they had there, he definitely had to fill that out. That thing wasn't no joke.
Yeah,
I hated that book.
Outside looking in, what's going on, man? It's been a minute.
He blessed us with the presence.
Yeah, he said Dayball is trash. Don't care who likes him.
Yeah,
that's fair.
We're good.
That's fair.
I'll take Brady over him any day.
Yeah. Oh. Lindsay said, "Don't worry, Key. I'll about New York. New York? Okay, I'll skip that part." She says, "Speaking of, Yankees gonna go all the way." I'm the Yankees fan, actually. Keyshawn is not a baseball fan at all.
Go Yankees!
Yankees are always going all the way. I don't care what nobody say. Every single year they going all the way. Period.
Aaron judging them. Yeah, boy.
The look on Keyshawn's face.
That's all I got. Aaron Judge, and he's still there, right? He's still there, right?
Yeah, he's still
okay,
there.
Good. All right, that's all I got.
Right,
I can put a whole roster of my players already.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, all right. What else you got, Key?
I tried.
We both did.
So this is interesting. I heard Joe Marino say this. He said Josh Allen no longer has to force the ball to Diggs, but he went on to say that Josh no longer has a burden of trying to validate the notion that Gabe Davis is number 2 wide receiver.
Say that last part again.
Basically, he's saying that, everybody says that Josh no longer has to force the ball to Diggs. That's why they're.
Yeah.
But he also went on to say Josh no longer has the burden of trying to validate the notion that Gabe Davis is a number 2 receiver.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
That's crazy.
100%.
When I heard that, I said, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
But I never thought about that. Why is Gabe Davis the lead? Well, how do I word this? Why did he throw the most interceptions throwing towards Gabe Davis? Why was Gabe Davis a deep threat? Why was Gabe Davis still getting all those targets even though he wasn't catching anything?
Yep.
That is, I never, you know what?
Well, see, I thought about it in the inverse, right? Because, for whatever we want to say about Diggs not performing in certain games and stuff like that, playoffs and whatever, ultimately what it boiled down to was it was too easy for the defense to pick out who they needed to stop, and nobody else could do anything.
Right.
Like, at all.
Right.
And Dawson Knox is included in this, right? Because he's been there the whole time. So for as much as we want to, cheer about where the offense is now without Stefon Diggs, it's more a testament of just how great Josh Allen is than it is Stefon Diggs holding anybody back or getting in the way or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure all of the talk behind the scenes from Diggs, could have gotten annoying. Yeah. But at the end of the day, winning solves everything, right? So if you were winning games and you were winning the way that you were back in 2020, 21, and 22, I don't think Diggs talking would have made a difference.
No,
because he was probably talking back then too.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be talking as much if you
right.
getting what he wanted. of course he wanted to shine, but he wanted to win.
Right.
And I liken Diggs to a talented version of Isaiah McKenzie. We all know McKenzie was a motor mouth. He was probably that little gnat in the back of it that just keeps like, yo, just shut up. Why is he still talking? And Diggs is like that quiet dude, but he still, he gets his words in. Yeah. So
Diggs only talks to his own players. You don't talk to
nobody else. Definitely not Maddie Glab.
That's cool. She been all over the place now that Diggs is gone. That might have been part of it. You gotta get Diggs out of here.
They said, Maddie, you gag order for now, man. Yeah. We can't do nothing for you.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think that was crazy. I mean, you see what Gabe's doing in Jacksonville now. After the first game where I gave him credit, he went away. He said, all I wanted was that guy to say, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need nothing else. Trevor Lawrence like, yo, what happened? I don't need no. He said, I'm all right.
And they gave him what, $14 million?
13.5 a season.
13.5 a season.
Yeah.
For what's on his jersey.
Probably about 13 mil too many.
No. $1 too many. $1 too many.
They gave that man, he should have I don't know. He should have been a depth player.
Oh, Lindsay, you don't have to apologize. It's all good. It's all good. She meant to say I'm all about New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am about the Bills. Because I can't stand Brooklyn, the Nets. I can't stand the Knicks. Sorry. The Yankees, I just don't watch baseball. I ain't gonna lie to you. Baseball, I don't know nothing about it. Islanders, no. Rangers, no.
Yeah.
Sabres, they over in Germany right now playing.
Yeah, I love to play baseball, but I can't. Like I'll watch the World Series. Like baseball for me is very much it's a lot of like the NBA to me. I can't watch regular season games. I can only watch games that have some pressure. And
you had a lot of games like that, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if the Yankees get to that point, I'm in all the way. I'm repping, whatever. But I can't even get into division. Like the fact that you get to play a team, at least 4 times.
Yeah. In a row.
In a row. The same team. And I get the logic of it. But it's just there's already too many regular season games, and then you're going to do the same thing in the playoffs.
I know 162, right?
162 games. Like that is crazy to me. And then 82 for basketball. 82?
Right.
You need that many games?
But see, the thing about baseball to me is if you can play a doubleheader in a sport.
Right.
You can play more than one.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, they playing. They hit, they run, but for the most part, a no hitter. The only person that's really working is the batter, and then he goes to the dugout.
Yeah.
Your outfielder, they might work. Shortstop usually works more than anything in a no hitter.
Not to completely derail a football show with baseball, but I need to ask this for anybody watching too. If you know, please let us know. But where did the notion? Because I played baseball like all the way up through high school. You know what I mean? So I love playing baseball, but I've never understood why there needed to be so many games. You know what I mean? Like
I don't get it.
Like you said, if you're playing double headers, like that's a lot. Why couldn't the game have been made such where the intensity was focused on? Yeah. As opposed to the quantity.
Yeah.
Focus on quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the NFL has done, and that's why it's kind of overtaken everything else, because there's so much pressure on one game. Every week. You get one chance, and that's it.
And it pisses me off. That's why I'm so mad about football.
Why?
We lose that, especially when we lose before the bye week. Oh!
Yeah.
You got to sit and stew with it and wait.
Yep.
And think about it for 14 days.
And it sucks, but guess what? You can't get enough.
I have heartburn.
That might be because of other reasons.
Those wings I ate weren't too good. No, I'm joking.
By the way, it's looking like I might be buying y'all wings, man. I can't think of a team that matches up well against the Bills. Like there was a guy on the radio this morning that said the same thing for wait, was it Chris Brown? It might have been Chris Brown.
Probably.
Yeah, he's talking about how defenses are going to need to have 6 strong defenders to be able to cover the Bills because they can throw six receivers, whether it be running backs, tight ends, wide receivers. They can throw six at you at any given time, and every last one of them can make a play when given a chance.
Yeah, the only thing you can do to defend a team like the Bills right now is to run a 3-4 where you had 4 linebackers like Terrell Bernard and just abandon the blitz. That's all you can do.
Or just play dime coverage.
Just play dime. Yeah, you can play
and
dime.
have safeties that can play man.
And then Mel Kiper's going to outlaw dime coverage, and then have to start from scratch.
Wouldn't that be something if the league just went to dime because of the Bills?
I would laugh.
I mean, I actually like dime. So what, like in Madden, what I used to do if it was long down and distance, I would just play dime. I can have corners covering linebackers. I'm fine with that.
So when you play Madden, got it.
Okay.
I didn't write that down at
Fair
all.
enough. We're gonna be on the same team anyway.
Yo, I'm pumped. I can't wait to do this.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So just so you guys know, we have confirmed now. I've talked to the fellas, and so we're gonna wait till Black Friday, right? Just because we're 3 dads with kids, and we need more money. So
Yeah. We on the super chat, so we gotta wait. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah. We still need like 112 more subscribers. So we'll get there. Anyway, we are gonna do a gaming division of our channel where the 4 of us, because a producer wants to play. So
If King gets a PlayStation 5, I'll make him play too. That's a good payment.
Right. See, perfect.
Y'all gonna hear a little squeaker.
He's got to play tight end though.
We'll work it out.
Oh wait, no, you said you're gonna put him on defensive line, right?
Yeah, you're gonna be defensive line.
Okay, yeah. That I'm fine with that. 2 of y'all on defensive line, ain't nobody passing the ball.
Nah.
But yeah, so we're gonna do it again. So we're gonna create ourselves, and I'm going to be 5'11", 280 pounds in the game.
I can't make Ken the right size though. It's okay.
But I'm a quarterback, so it don't matter.
Oh man, beef tank.
Right? Yeah, that's right. You did draft a guy like that. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe it because I watched it happen.
You watch me do this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm weird.
Some of the most ridiculous stuff that you can think of that happens in a Madden game, Keyshawn has blessed us with the opportunity to laugh.
I'm the blueprint.
That.
I'm the blueprint.
You definitely
I
are.
sit there, you over turn to a stat strategy. I'm like, how can I piss him off? They got Webster on here. That's gonna be my wide receiver.
I knew that's the only reason you did it. I knew it, and you just confirmed it now. All these years, I've always felt like he only plays like this because he knows it makes me mad. He only plays West Coast offense because he knows it makes me mad. He never throws downfield because he knows it makes me.
No, I play like that for real. That's how I play.
The only time you would throw downfield is when you had Sunflower on a safety, 1-on-1. That's it.
Yep.
You had a
a
6'7" receiver with a 5'11" safety covering him.
Yep. Right where I wanted him. Mossage.
I can't stand you. Outside looking in says, I rewatch y'all videos, but my daughter is now in driving school and we work on it after school. So she isn't wasting my $850 for driving
Man,
school.
I feel you. I hit me where it hurts anyway. I feel you.
Listen, outside looking in, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to make sure that you double check everything that the driving school is teaching because there's just way too many defensive drivers on the road right now. I am not a big fan of driving school. I truly believe in the very basic skills that my uncles taught me, which is as long as you can do a figure 8 in a very small parking lot and not hit the brakes at all with a car. I'm sorry, not hit the gas. You got to do a figure 8 in a very small parking lot without hitting the gas, and then you're good, right? That's all manners of vehicle control and turning. And then the other thing that my other uncle did was he took me down Allen Street, which is it used to be a very narrow street where you could park on both sides. And he forced me to do 35 miles an hour, which is 5 miles over the speed limit, but also too daggone fast to be driving down a narrow street when you got oncoming traffic coming the other way at the same time. So it eliminates that fear of the other car's vicinity to you, which really helps on the thruway. You got to find some way to eliminate that stuff because if you're a defensive driver and you get on a thruway, everything is scary. That gets on my nerves. Like that to me, that stuff causes more issues than people driving aggressively. People driving aggressively, they know where they're going. Mm-hmm. And most of the time they go exactly where they're trying to go. They're just trying to get away from everybody else that's going slow. Mm-hmm. Right? And for me, I know I've given you a couple of heart attacks, with you in the car with me, but essentially, did you die?
No.
Right.
No, we're here doing a podcast about it.
Right. So we still here to talk about it.
Here,
You know what I'm
lives,
saying? And listen, I've been flooring it since I was 15.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
When I first met this dude,
I would double check what they teaching.
when I first met this dude, I remember we used to play the game. He had to go pick his now wife up, and I'm like, yo, hey, what time we got to go get her? He's like, 7:30. I'm like, it's 7:29, dog. Yo, we got there like 3 minutes late. 3 minutes. You think I'm fast going to? No, you think I'm fast going to work? No. Remember that time we hit that light and the dude started walking to the car? He was like, "What? We out here."
That's right. Yo, he was walking right up to the driver's side doors like, yo.
What do I say? Run it.
Oh my gosh. So there was a time you didn't come with us, but me, Caitlin, Mac, and Christina. I think we went to Cedar Point. Mm-hmm. I think you were still working.
I had it with Darien Lake at that point because y'all went after with Darien Lake and I paid $41 to watch y'all ride the ride.
Yes, you did.
I said never again.
Right. Right. We were trying to get you to come. So we on the way back from Cedar Point though, we was doing 85, 90, 110 on the throughway, just racing each other, literally racing each other, right? And what was really funny about this is I like at certain points where it was just us in both lanes racing, I would look over real quick and see Christina just fidgeting all over the place, being nervous and
She
trying
doing
to
Ray Charles on him.
Yo, she was not with it. And Caitlin had enough experience with me at that point to just sit there and just be like,
She got good core strength.
she just closed her eyes. That's
Good
it.
core strength. She ain't touched the door. She was like,
Yeah.
she clenching like she in a Blue Angel.
Because she had seen so many times where I speed up real fast and come right up on the car in front of me and then dip over in front of the person that's right there that's not trying to give me enough space to get in front of them. You know what I'm saying? But I perfected that move. So she seen me do it a million times, so she knew, like, we ain't crashing.
No.
You know, but...
You got it over in India, I guess. You see how they drive those little man. That's
Who?
crazy. India.
No. Oh, yeah, they wild over
I
there.
don't know how they do it.
They don't use a brake.
No.
They brake pedal don't exist over there. It is crazy. And the other part too is it be people walking all around.
Yeah.
And they just be
going.
going.
Don't even break stride.
If they hit somebody's vegetable cart or something like that, that's your fault for being in the way.
Why were you there? Then they curse you out.
Right. They stick their hand out like this as they pass by.
Like, yo, you hit him. Shouldn't have been there.
Yep. All right. Back
So
to
you
football.
heard Terrell Bernard.
He
2 days.
Back. Yeah, he's
2
back
days
to
of practice. So not this week, but maybe next one.
Yeah. You know what? Would you hold him out till after the bye just to be safe?
What was he again? I know.
Peck.
Peck.
Yeah.
Strain? Nah, he's all right.
Think so?
Yeah.
So he's been out for what, 3 weeks?
Yeah. He got hurt in week 1. So in the
about
beginning
a
of week
month?
1. So yeah.
Yeah, that's if it's a strain,
Yeah.
a month. That's a good period of time.
Yeah. I mean, no bench pressing. But I mean, what you really need him to do is get in the passing lanes and make plays in that regard. So if you can do that, come along. Now, that is a beautiful problem to have though, because they don't expect him to play at an all-time level.
Right.
And it's like, yo,
I don't want to take.
Right.
You're gonna develop too. I don't want to take him off the field. You know what I mean?
Like, you got liabilities in this
Right.
thing. Like, yo, he's a starter. So as long as he doesn't get hurt, we'll see. But obviously, we know Bernard's gonna get his spot back without question. I mean, I'm not trying to suggest that anybody trying to call me out, but that's a hell of a problem to have.
Yeah. Man, Lindsay said in Florida, because obviously I had an issue with $850 for driving school too, but Lindsay said that's insane. She says in Florida they offer it in high school for free. I've heard of that too.
We had I don't know if it was free. I didn't go to driving school, so I don't know if it was free, but we had it in our high school.
Okay. OLI says Seattle is expensive, and that's an understatement. So what is it? Okay, so Tibonius Lex says, what does the time frame look like for Terran?
What's what?
Terran Johnson. Prognosis.
He's got a fractured forearm, so I would say they say it's just a crack. It's not a clean break. So I would say without being on IR, you're looking at probably another 3 weeks.
Yeah, I was just gonna say 3 too.
Maybe 3 weeks.
Sounds about right. And that would be what 6 weeks for him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So usually with fractures, from what I heard Pop say when I first told him about it, it's at least 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. For the most part, it's like 6 to 10. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think the fact that it's just a crack, he can come back a lot faster than if it's a break.
Yeah.
Crack, that's like pain tolerance, and depending on what position you play.
Yeah. They probably just put a brace on it too.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Definitely.
Okay. Steve says, let's see if the Ravens can get the Bills out of nickel and expose the linebackers. Let's see if the Bills wide receiver can separate versus one of the worst secondaries. I want to see if that Ravens run D is real too.
2.7 yards a carry. Yeah, that's tough. But they played against the Chiefs. They played against Jacksonville. No, not Jacksonville. They played against
the Chiefs. Ran on them just fine though.
Yeah, they don't even want to run. So
right.
They were okay. It was adequate. They played. Who else they played? They played Jacksonville.
The Ravens.
Yeah.
No, they played the Chiefs. Then they played the Raiders.
Raiders. Yeah, that's it.
And then they played. Who they play after the Raiders?
Who they just play? They just beat
beat the Cowboys.
Dallas. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see. I think there's a lot to look at in this game in terms of what these teams really are.
Yeah.
Because the Ravens could have easily been 2-1, 3-0 even. Had the foot come down in bounds on that last play for likely.
Right.
The Raiders anomaly. So, they just caught them. They caught them probably sleeping. They probably went overconfident, thinking, we lost. We went toe to toe with the Chiefs. We got this when the Ravens, the Raiders said, no, you don't. But then they came back and they said we can't go against Buffalo when we're down 0-3. So. Right. Yeah, they turned it on. They were serious. Like I sent you the video I mentioned in the last show. Lamar Jackson's got a game face on. He's telling people, on his team, it's time to get serious. Mm-hmm. As a leader, you got to recognize that people are kind of getting loose, and he hasn't been playing bad at all. But when we go into the actual the components of this game, you'll understand that. He's not as bad as what people want to say he is. I think he might be the most underrated quarterback because he's got the MVPs, and that's what makes it seem like this dude didn't deserve it. He's trash. Just look at all the bad stuff he does. But when you peel back the layers and look at all the stuff that he actually can do, he's up there. He's going to be one of the marquee quarterbacks in the league. Not saying he's better than Josh at all, but he deserves his side of the table. And I saw your graphic. Which
that's just to say that he gonna give up that MVP this year. He gonna give it up.
Well, he's not. I don't think he's not gonna get it. The league's not gonna give the MVP to somebody not named Tom Brady 3 times in a row. Well, so true. I think it's vacated. It's like the presidential rule. You only get 2 and then you're done.
Yeah. So I'm looking at a few comments here, and somebody who asked this first. Oh, okay. Steve said it first, but then Lindsay said that was her question too. So, will the Bills get forced out of the nickel during this game? And to that, I say no. There's
nothing
no
is going. It's going to take heaven and earth to move.
Not even that.
Yeah.
If they didn't move out of the nickel the first time they played Derrick Henry, where Josh Norman got freaking ironed in the face by a stiff arm.
No. The stiffy.
I
wrote it. Yo, look right here. I wrote it. I said, besides the stiffy.
Yo, change that. Change that, bro.
Because Mel said it and you were pissed. So I'm never going to forget it now.
I was mad, bro.
So Derrick Henry only ran for more than 70 yards one time outside of that game.
Right.
He has 4 touchdowns in the other 4 games he played against us. So you figure the one game he had 149 yards, 143 yards and 3 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. That's an anomaly. Derrick Henry is good, but he's not that good. That was a 7-yard per carry game. This year he's averaging 4.3 against us. So I'm not too worried about Derrick Henry. I never really was worried about Derrick Henry. So
the formula is very simple. If you can get him to shift his momentum before the line of scrimmage, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make you pay. He can't. He's not a shifty guy. So a majority of what makes him effective is the ability to hit the hole with so much power and speed that it creates issues tackling him. And that's how he makes defenses weak over the span of the game. But if you clog holes and you're very disciplined in the way that you play, you know, they're because they play zone runs. They call a lot of zone runs.
Oh yeah.
If you play that well enough, and I mean, listen, the Bills are one of the best in the league right now at yards per carry against. Like the Jaguars got off, but in terms of total rush yardage allowed, like the Bills are one of the top teams. So, you know, they're better against the run this year is effectively what I'm trying to say. But you just got to be disciplined. Force him to shift his momentum and try and cut before the line of scrimmage because the initial hole he saw is not there, and you got him. And they've proven that's why he hasn't been effective the last 3 games is because that formula has kind of been out across the league. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think where it really gets skewed is, you know, with Tennessee, they needed Tannehill in order to make Henry effective. They needed the play action game that they got with Arthur Smith to kind of bring Henry to life. You know what I mean? Because essentially the combination of Henry with AJ Brown and everything that they had to kind of make that play action game, you know, run perfectly, it was kind of like the perfect storm. You know what I'm saying? And that's where Henry made his money. But in this scheme they're playing in now with the read option stuff, Henry is not the type of running back that's going to do well running out of shotgun.
And see, that's why when they traded him, everybody's like, "Oh, I'm like,
no."
I'm like, so what does that mean to me? I was like,
right.
It's a name. You see a big guy, everybody talked about, lauded, but when you look at his numbers, I think his career is 3.9 a carry or something like that. And, you know, obviously he's a tough yardage runner, but, you know, he had a couple really good years outside of that. He's just a battering ram.
Exactly. And Lamar is not the type to stay under center the entire game either. He likes shotgun, same way Josh does. So if that's where he likes to be,
that's where he's going to be.
Guess where King Henry is going to be, right on his side, not doing nothing.
And don't know what to do.
Yeah. So to me, I don't worry about this game. I mean, obviously, you know, Lamar Jackson is who he is, and it is scary to think that on any given play he could beat everybody for 70 yards, on foot. I mean, and score a touchdown. But the way that I've seen this team handle teams that they're supposed to handle, I don't think we've seen the Bills be this consistently good against teams that they're supposed to beat and beat them this way. You get what I'm saying? Like usually, you know, we'll have one of those funny games against a team that has no business having, you know, success against us. And for those people who might say, well, the Cardinals game, that's week 1. You know what I mean? Week 1 is the 4th preseason game.
Yeah, don't count that.
You know what I'm saying? So I can't count. But as soon as they got to real week 1, which is week 2, destroyed the Dolphins and ended their season basically, you know, and then destroyed the Jaguars, who before week 3 people thought were a pretty good team.
I have no idea why, but yeah, they did.
It's just,
you're right. I looked and said, what am I missing? I was like, maybe I need to go back to basketball. I don't see it.
Yeah. But yes, Lindsay, that's exactly right. She said that's the goal for Sunday's game. Make Jackson throw. Exactly. If you can keep him in the pocket the same way the Bills did with Kyler Murray, that's the game plan. He's even though he's a much better passer than Kyler Murray, you still want him in the pocket because essentially what you're doing is you're forcing Lamar Jackson to not be the weapon that he is, and you're also forcing all the ancillary weapons, tight ends and receivers, to be the ones that beat you. And I don't think they can. I don't think they can beat the secondary. I just don't. After seeing what I saw on Coach D's corner yesterday, and well, I should say bringing that out because I saw it beforehand. But Did you get a chance to see what the Bills do in terms of their disguises and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing the way that they can take, Cam Lewis and line him up at nickel, and then he drops into a safety position, and then you have Taylor Rapp dropping down and playing a robber or that high middle linebacker in a traditional Tampa 2. And then you have friggin' DeMar Hamlin coming down and playing that the soft zone in cover 2 as a corner.
Yeah.
And then you got the who was it? I think it was Benford that dropped back into safety. Like,
this team is all about pre-snap motions now.
Right.
They're all about confusion, and that's something I talked about in the last week after watching. I think it was a Miami game. I watched all 22, and just all the I talked about the communication. I talked about showing you something that wasn't going to happen. And I think that's the trademark of this defense, and that's why I say, this is not a McDermott defense, even though he has his hand in the pot. This is something different.
Yeah, exactly. He's never done disguising to this degree.
Not like that. No,
This is the first time we're seeing this.
Yeah.
You know who else is doing this?
Who's that?
Brian Flores.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that Minnesota's doing and using to destroy the league right now defensively, and the Bills are doing the same thing.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing when you can get away with that with less than players. I'll say you don't have your number one overall pick at safety, and you don't have those guys. You have 6th round. That's why I ran down a list of where they got drafted last week, because when you look at the defense we have, they're not supposed to be this good. Right. And I don't know if they are even as good if you line them up man on man. If you just go mano on mano and just straight up say, let's beat me. I don't know. But I can tell you that the way they play, the way that they get in the quarterback's head, especially when you play against a guy like Tua, who has to get all his information before the snap. Yep. I'm showing you this. He's like, I got it. And then what the hell's going on?
Right.
That's not what's supposed to, no, time out. This isn't supposed to happen. Get back when you're supposed to be there. And that's how you beat those guys. Trevor Lawrence the same way.
Yeah. They had the man seeing ghosts, man.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And I saw a stat that actually Josh Allen is the lowest quarterback in terms of throwing to his first read percentage. So I mean that's great. That's what you want. You shouldn't laud it because that's what a quarterback's supposed to do. But when you see guys like Tua, you see guys like Malik Willis, you see guys like Trevor Lawrence, that tells you how far quarterbacking has come at such a young age. Because those guys are relatively the same age as Josh, and they're like, I got to be manufactured. Everything's manufactured.
Yep. All right, so before we get too much into the Ravens game, did you have anything else?
Okay. So I was asked to fact check last week.
Fact check
the Bills blowouts.
Okay.
So what I found, if we're looking at the Bills since McDermott came in, you are looking at this team. If you're going 15 points or more in wins, we're not number one. Since Josh arrived, so 2018 to present, we're third. If you go with your logic, 20-plus points, we move to second. Dallas is number one, and if you go by 15 points, it's by a large margin. Well, 3 or 4 games. If you go by 2, they have us by
second in the league. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're high.
Yeah.
But it's not a wide margin. We're not just blowing people out. That's and I think that's kind of where I was going with. Could we blow people out? And the teams that we blew out, sure, but we haven't.
Who was number one? Just
Dallas.
Dallas. Okay.
Yeah. Dallas is when they put it on you, they put it on you.
Right.
But they don't put it on everybody, so it's all right.
Obviously, we saw that last night.
So I just wanted to get that because I was asked to fact check, and I had to. And if I would have been wrong, I would have said the same thing. I would have told you, yeah, you're right. But I knew, it wasn't some wide margin that the Bills are just regulating on anybody they play against. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Steve. He says if the Raiders and sloppy play KC beat them, we gotta win convincingly if we want to beat our chest.
Nah, sloppy play KC didn't beat them. The Zebras beat them.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I have not seen as many of those offensive line calls made in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. I think the league said you got to tone that down. They probably went and calibrated because that was ridiculous.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous.
And it sucks that the Ravens are the only team. There were other games in Week 1 where we saw it, but not nearly as much as what we saw in the Ravens.
Not
game.
like that.
Like that was egregious.
Yeah, it was.
And it sucks that they had to pay that price for that. I feel bad for them, but listen, they are going to get beat down in Baltimore by the Buffalo Bills. I'm serious. I'm convinced. I'm willing to put money down. We're going to win the game. I don't know to what degree, because there's variables that I can't account for. But matchup wise, we match up well against them and every other team in the league because of what we can do offensively, because of what we do defensively. There's not a matchup that I see in the NFL where I'm just like, I don't think we can beat them. Not one. You know what I mean? Either they don't have the defense to cover our weapons, or they don't have the offense or the quarterback that can beat what we do on defense. And every team has a hole. And what makes the Bills great is they have everything they need to find that hole and exploit it. It's exactly what the Patriots used to do on offense. They didn't have a lot of big names, you know what I'm saying? But they had one or two guys that were very consistent and were able to make plays. We happen to have more than two, but whenever they needed to use, random guys, Deion Branch, they would use guys like that in the Super Bowl and get 10 catches and set records and they win. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that matters. And for me going into this Baltimore game, as much credit as I want to give Lamar Jackson, he's not as great a passer as Josh Allen. He's not nearly as close as people think he is to Lamar Jackson, to Josh Allen as a passer. And that's what he's going to need to be able to beat this defense. He's going to need that. He's not going to be able to just run through the entire game. Once they get in the red zone, the defense is fast enough to stop whatever they're trying to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those games where I actually, my prediction for the game is I got the Bills going 31-14.
We're doing this now?
You can if you want, but I'm saying that to kind of say that's how I see the game going. I think they'll get to the red zone and they'll get lucky a couple of times early on, but the Bills will figure it out. You know what I mean? They'll adjust. They'll make their adjustments like they've been doing, and they'll shut it down in the second half. I do not see Lamar Jackson in this offense going off, even the way they did against the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't have the secondary that the Bills have. They don't. And for that matter, they really only have one linebacker, whereas the way our defense works, we've got three. that can cover and play. We got Cam Lewis. We got and you know what I'm saying?
But you're right. Yeah,
I mean, essentially, that's what he is.
This is hilarious to me. We're talking about Cam Lewis like he's some kind of world beater,
right? That's the crazy part. In this defense,
I love it. I love it.
We got to be proven wrong.
I love it. I mean, the small UB guy. I talk about Doe like every week, and I mean, watch him tomorrow. But the thing is, you got guys like Jamarcus Ingram. You got Doe. You have Damar Hamlin. You got Taylor Rapp went to a bigger school, but you got these smaller school guys that are out there. Villanova, Christian Benford. They're out there regulating. They're out there proving their worth, making a name for themselves. And like I said, Jamiel Adai, my guy, Jamiel Adai. I'm gonna peel back layers even further than Babbage because he did his thing. He did his thing with linebackers. He did his thing as a defensive coordinator so far. Mm-hmm. But there's that one missing component that people don't talk about. And I got all 300 and however many people watch this show will know the name Jamiel Adai when this show was over with because you got to give him some flowers.
Him and the defensive line coach.
Yeah.
The defensive line is, I mean, we've said this before, Daquan Jones is the linchpin of this whole defense. Mm-hmm. If he leaves, now we got real problems because the pass rush is completely erased at that point. Right. Hopefully the guy is Austin Jackson, right? Austin Johnson, sorry. Hopefully Austin Johnson is enough of a replacement where we can still maintain some consistency, but it won't be the same as having Daquan Jones there.
I think he's only on a one-year deal too, so they had to re-sign him.
Right. Yeah. So, and I'm okay if they do. You know what I mean? If he's as close to Daquan Jones as you say he is, I think that's a no-brainer. You keep that in house, right? But for me, and I understand what Bully's saying. He's saying Kyler made plays against us, so this game is a toss-up. In my opinion, I truly think it depends on our run-stopping ability. I think we will see Lamar Jackson make plays because he's a better quarterback in terms of being able to make off-script plays, even from the pocket, right? But again, to me, this boils down to they'll make plays between the 20s, but once you get inside the 20, that's a whole different animal, right? The Ravens as an offense have not been a good red zone defense. I want to say almost the whole time Lamar Jackson has been there. You know what I'm saying? They just haven't. And so that's advantage Bills, right? You can, if you're not getting 70-yard touchdowns, then I'm sorry, you got to get to the red zone and you got to try and score. And that's where you're weak and we're strong. So I don't, that's why I say all of the different nuances to the matchups and stuff like that. Like, I've thought about all of this stuff, and I don't see a scenario where I'm like, I'm scared. Now obviously, outside looking in, that's the only caveat that I don't think I've considered.
What's that?
The Bills beating themselves.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll do this. I'll do this because I didn't want people to turn this off. But I think we're going to go 24-21 Baltimore.
Whoa.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a running game because they're talking about it's gonna be pretty crappy with the hurricane coming through the remnants. So you're probably not gonna get a lot of throwing. I think it's gonna be a ground game, and the Bills can finally, with James Cook and Ray Davis and Ty Johnson can finally run the ball. So it's not all over with. But I don't know. And it was funny because I was listening to the Talking Buffalo show, and the guy said, "What if this comes down to kicker versus kicker?"
Oh.
And I was like, yo.
I don't want to see that game because they're both bad right now.
Well, that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
And that's why I said 24-21 because I'm like, that 3 points is going to be tied at 21, and then that last second kick by Tucker puts him over the top. It's like, oh, man. But I said in the chat for the last show, we were talking to Dorothy, our favorite, that keeps the party going. Y'all got to join. She, hey, even my mom said, yo, Dorothy, she in there.
Yeah, she be going in.
Where y'all at? I know y'all ain't, I'm working. I know all y'all ain't working.
She be hitting us on non-podcast days and everything.
Man, hit us up.
Yeah.
If I see it, I'm going to respond.
Yep.
But, the thing is, I told her, I said, you know what? She said, how can you say that? I said, I think I'm more afraid of the fact I don't see a loss. You know what I mean? I can't point and say that one's a loss. Houston, I'm like, could be, but I don't look at it and say, well, we're going to pack that one in, or you're going to get. So I'm like, shoes got to drop somewhere, and I'm not going to say loss every week.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I think it's just like I don't think they're smelling themselves. I don't think that they're smelling themselves. It's just like, for me, it's like, yo, where the hell is that loss coming?
Yeah,
it's an albatross. It's there, but I don't know. And I will trust me. You guys can all laugh in my face and call me names on Monday when we win on Sunday, but. Man, I am nervous because I've never felt like a Bills team that I can't say I see a loss somewhere.
I think it's either going to be because the Lions are before the bye, right?
Yeah, I'll take a look and make sure. But yeah,
I think it's either going to be the Lions or the Chiefs. I don't see the 49ers being able to do that because of the way that they play defense. It's very similar to how the Jets play defense. So I think if we're going to look at a team and say the Bills are more likely to lose that game than any other game, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to say they're more likely to lose than win,
right?
But they're more likely to lose that game than, compared to any other game. I think those are the two opponents that I would look at. I think the Lions' ability to match or to marry their run with their pass and the weapons they have on offense does present an issue for the Bills' defense.
The Lions are after December 15th.
They're after the bye.
Yep.
Okay, so
you're looking at Baltimore, Houston, the Jets, the Titans, Seahawks, Dolphins, Colts, Chiefs.
Yeah, and the first team that came to my mind was the Chiefs because it's before the bye, and the Bills.
Yeah, they haven't won a game before the bye.
That's what I'm saying. The Bills traditionally lose before the bye and win after. So, and plus it's a pretty good opponent. If they can figure out how to use Xavier Worthy, before that, then they might have something. You know what I mean?
Here though,
huh?
It's here this time though.
No, I know.
Okay.
Well, they've been here before and won.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying. I'll hear you. Go ahead.
I don't want it to be.
I don't either. I would love to go. What is that? 11-0.
Yeah.
But the odds of the Bills being 11-0 is like ridiculous.
The other team now that I see the full schedule, the other team I worry about is Seattle Seahawks. Their defense is really good.
If we lost to Gino, I'll be sad. And it's not that he sucks. It's just
I worry about the flight there and what that does to the body, right? And then having to play against that defense. You know, our defense may be able to get away with not being their best, but our offense is not going to be able to get away with not being their best.
I mean, my thing is, we picked E.J. Manuel ahead of Geno Smith 11 years ago. And Geno Smith is not only still in the league, he is a starting quarterback, borderline starter money for a good team.
Yeah.
Man,
I mean, we got to be real. I mean, my pop was on Coach D's corner yesterday, and he said, like, we can't look at these first 3 wins as, you know, solidifying of the Bills being good.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And I think I've been fighting that the whole time. You're right.
Right. And I agree with that 100%. You know, I'm just encouraged by the differences in the team this year as opposed to any other year that I've seen. Like, what we've seen happen this year is the equivalent to what I experienced in 2020, where I'm looking at the team and I'm saying, like, yo, who are we right now? Like, are we really this good?
I think in 2020 for me, I was like, there's no way. I know I say the name a lot, but it fits. Like, it was Allen and Diggs. Like, it was unstoppable. I'm like, yo, at some point somebody's gonna figure this out.
Right.
3 years later, they're still trying to figure it out.
But here's the thing too. Before the 2020 season, I got into it with Rich, the one that called the show before, and you know, because he always does. He always bags on me about the Bills and, you know, how they're going to be terrible or whatever. And I said to him, I said, no, we signed Daquan Jones. That's an improvement on the defensive line. He's an actual one tech. He can play one tech. That's going to improve the defensive line play. Mm-hmm. And then here we go, first game of the season, we destroy the Rams. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And from that point on, it was like, holy cow, I thought we would be good, but not this good. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. And so, you know, here we are again where I think beating the Ravens in Baltimore on Sunday Night Football, in whatever weather, it could be beautiful, sunny day, but beating that team in their house to go 4-0, we're talking about a team that is probably going to make the playoffs at that point.
That too.
You know what I'm saying? And that's as far as I'm willing to go, as far as like hope for the team and stuff like that. But if we get to at Houston and at Jet, like if we end up coming back home to play the Titans and we're 6-0, I'm sorry. Who else is gonna get in the way?
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's where I am with it, and I'm sitting here like, there's no way the Bills are gonna be 6-0, and I'm like, so which one of these teams is gonna be the fall? And I'm not trying, I'm not trying to talk people out of thinking we're gonna go to the bowl and be undefeated, which is what you want to do. Right. But I think for me, it's like you said, when we watched 2020, it never came down, but I was just waiting for it. Yeah. Now we have a team where I hate everybody eats because everybody don't eat because, I mean, let's face it, nobody's really getting off besides Shakir.
Exactly.
But, at the same time, it's like there's so many possibilities. There's a good offensive line. The Bills have a good offense, not since Fina, Hall, Ostrowski, and the boys. Not since that line have we had an adequate line. Not since even Fitz have we had a good quarterback that we could rely on to do something. Right. We have wide receivers across the board. We got tight ends. We haven't had. I mean, we're talking about Dalton Kincaid in 3 years. The same way we talk about Josh now. We say when he's done in Buffalo, he's going to be the best tight end we've ever had. Yeah. To say that we finally have all this stuff. Yep. And I have no control over this. I got to sit back and watch this, and I'm like. I'm just skittish. You know how I get. I get nervous. That's my own bet. And I'm like, man, it's too good to be true.
Right. That's exactly what it feels right now. It's too good to be true. And I think, the reason I put in the thumbnail, pay close attention, is you can see kind of in the back a little bit, Sean McDermott kind of in the corner with his hand on the sword. Yeah. Like that right now, that is the only thing that can get in the way of this team's success because he's stepped into a more traditional head coach role and taken his hands off of everything and let his players, let his coordinators, let his coaches do their jobs. And you just make the top man decisions. Make the head coach decisions. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. You focus on the in-game calls. You know what I'm saying? We've seen what that does now. And to a degree, that's kind of what happened in 2020. We Brian Daboll was given the reins, and he was able to install his what he wanted to do on offense and get players in here that he thought could help. And Frazier was here at the time doing his own thing, and Sean was able to kind of step back. Right? It wasn't until maybe 2 years later where we started hearing about Sean trying to step on Daboll's toes and tell him what's what. Right. But all of this is to say, for me, I don't see the real test coming until week 11. I said Texans before, but after seeing what Minnesota did to them defensively and the Bills had doing similar things on defense, I have to kind of take a step back from that stance of the Texans might be scary, because if what I think is happening, which is C.J. Stroud is going through a sophomore slump because now teams have a book on him, the Bills are in a good position to take advantage of that. You know what I mean? So aside from dealing with the New York Jets, short passing game and managing their run game and just outscoring them so they can't keep up, the Chiefs are that team where they have a player who has the skill set that has destroyed the Bills before, which is immense elite speed that we cannot cover if they use him the way that they used to use Tyreek Hill.
See, with them, I think that's part of it too. I don't fear them.
Really?
I don't. Like, I'm looking at them play out. Okay, Rashee Rice gets off. Worthy they just put on the back burner. Like, you cook back there. It'll put you on low heat and simmer. Travis Kelce with the cut. We talked about that already. He's not that guy anymore.
Yeah. I think Travis Kelce's going to be that dude that makes his bones this year off of broken plays. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to be that guy that's just in sync with Mahomes, and that's how he gets his catches. It won't be the traditional way.
Well, you got to think too. Pacheco is not playing,
right?
So
they got Kareem Hunt back though.
Yeah. So I mean, they got Kareem Hunt, but who did he play? What was the last time he played? He's going to need
Kareem Hunt last year.
Did he play last year?
Yeah, he's
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the thing. Like, San Francisco's hurt. The Rams, they got Tre'Davious White as their cornerback, and I can say that now with full confidence because he's not here anymore.
I can't wait to destroy him.
I hope Keon Coleman just mosses them after moss, because his whole problem here, he couldn't defend bigger physical players. We got two of them, Mac Hollins and Keon Coleman.
The only time I ever liked Trey White, and this is going back to, what was that? I think it had to be 2019 Madden. Madden 19. That was the first Madden that they made Trey White do all those diving interceptions.
I forgot about those. Yeah.
That was the only time I was like, yo, I need him on every team, because he always did that. You know what I mean? And he was like one of maybe two corners that ever did that in the entire game.
Got the game breaker, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But he, anything that came near, he would dive and get it. It didn't matter if, where it was. He diving to get it. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll take that. Trey White, nice.
Sure, 11 interceptions again. Like, what's going on?
right. But as a draft pick, I hated it.
Yeah, I didn't understand it either. I didn't understand it, especially. Well, it's funny because I wanted Mahomes real bad. I did out of college. I really wanted Mahomes, and I'm like, oh, he's there. We got the Bills traded. Wait, what do you mean? Kansas City, whatever. They suck. Whatever. Kansas City, I don't care. Right. Mahomes. Oh, come on, we can't get Mahomes now. That's how it was. Yep. And then he becomes this guy. Yeah, we got Josh. Yeah, But I mean, let's be real. Had Mahomes come to Buffalo and done close to what he's done in his career so far, and Josh went somewhere else, we'd be like, we just got Mahomes, though. We got Mahomes, we could add him before, So, I mean, revisionist history, whatever. But I think Trey White was local lore. He was a good guy, goalie academy, all that good stuff. So we loved him because he was approachable. He just had a personality that you loved, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with liking everybody on your team, but you don't have to understand. You don't have to think that they are something they're not. Yeah. And a lockdown cornerback, he was never.
Yeah. I can't wait to see him. Let's get through a bunch of comments here, and then we'll touch on the main topic for this episode.
Comments it is.
So, Kev, what's up, man? He says, what's up?
Kev.
He also says, beating the Ravens will show we arrived.
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. Roy said,
He said, yeah, okay.
it's 7:24, so we got
No. We talked about the game so far anyway. We're still going.
Yeah, we talked a little bit
We're
about
good.
it. Yeah. Roy says everybody snacks. I love that. I'm saying I'm using that. Roy, I'm using that. Thank you. You can copyright it if you want. I'll give you the quarter. I'll send it to you wherever you want. Everybody snacks is great. That's amazing. Sal says, love our chances. Home favorite under 3 points. 70% loser. Begging you to bet Ravens. Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't betting no.
I'm not a betting person, but
Right. You just hear me say I'm too afraid to bet my money. No,
yeah, same. It's more. I might turn into a gremlin if I lose. like literally, my emotions will get way too high, and I'll start spouting a bunch of gremlins out of my back, just like the movie.
Somebody pour water on them.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Roy says, as a Bills fan who was born the year they won their first AFL championship. Wow. I'm used to. I'm just kidding, Roy. I'm used to being disappointed.
We still soul brothers.
I was leaving some space to see if you would say something. I was like, all right, I'll just say it.
That Kevin Hart when Cheeto said, "I'm."
Yeah.
He's like,
damn.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The way Don Cheeto just looked at him, no, he was just like.
No, you jumped out of his body when he said.
And he tried to continue too. He was trying to be nice about it. So, but then like towards the end, he couldn't help. He was like, no, you meant what you said. You meant what you said.
He turned on the war machine on him.
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. So Roy also says, I'm used to being disappointed every season. I just expect it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
As a Bills supporter, yes, we're used to it.
You can't be a fan anymore because a fanatic. You have to think they're going to win the Super Bowl even when they're not in the playoffs anymore.
Right.
Somehow they're going to pull it out and they're not even playing. That's a fanatic.
President Rich says the stiffy is wild, bro.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, tell Mac that because he didn't.
I will tell him that.
Mac was like, Mac said the stiffy. I'm like, whoa.
Mac was very firm with the stiffy.
He was dead serious.
He's very firm with the stiffy.
The fact that he did the whole
motion was kind of wild.
Yeah. Where is he right now? Why is he not in the chat?
Yo, bring him in the chat. I got some.
He got 4 kids to watch. That's his problem.
Yeah,
he got them kids he's looking at.
So Sal says he's talking to Roy. He said I was at the AFL Championship game in Buffalo for first Super Bowl against, I'm assuming, Chiefs. Like, you know how he put chefs, which is hilarious because of the commercial. He said 10 years old. I just want one before the Grim Reaper comes. Yeah. Dude. Man, you preaching to the choir on that one.
I'm 40 and I'm saying that.
Right. I'm a man. I'm 40.
I'm 40.
Roy says, rule number 1, no bashing Kyle Williams. Yes. No bashing Kyle Williams.
I won't. He's irrelevant. So
What? Nah, bro. Nah. You going to the clink for that one. You going to the clink. Rule number 2, no bashing Trey White.
You going to the clink with me.
I don't know.
You going with me.
I don't know if I
You got the top bunk, Sully.
Right. All right. So that's my harmonica.
That's good. No, I know.
So let's see. Rule number 3.
Man, he got a lot of rules.
Right.
It's a lot of rules. After one, I'm like, yo, you pushing it.
He been around for a while. It's okay.
I allow it. Yeah, you allow it.
He says rule number 3: mute warning for all fantasy talk.
We know.
Well, that you in charge of that.
I got you.
It rolls right out.
Roy didn't I give you the warning? I said, Roy, hold on a second. I got to do this one time. I got you.
Signals, just hold on. All right. Let's see. All right. So we're caught up. Okay. So now, what?
Let's see. Okay, we're caught up. Now, if there's a comment here you didn't read, and they're like, yo, for real? You just disregarded me, fam?
Hey, they can fire at me if they need to. They can shoot at me if they need to. All right, so I thought this was really interesting, and this is the reason why I created the title. Did we miss the signs? Right. So Dan Orlovsky was on the radio, he was on the radio yesterday, and one of the things that he mentioned was he talked to Brandon Beane 2 or 3 years ago, and one of the things that Brandon Beane mentioned to him was that he's responsible. Beane Bean said, I'm responsible for putting people around Josh or putting enough people around Josh to make him feel like he doesn't have to. Now, what he was referring to was Josh's desire or need or feeling that he has to put the team on his shoulders and do everything, right? Play hero ball, throw interceptions and all that kind of stuff. So what Brandon Bean was really trying to say was it's his job to put the right coaches and players around Josh so that he can play like what we're seeing now, right? And the question that came to me was, if we're seeing that now, where were all the signs of this coming to fruition before? Because for the last 2 years or 3 years, based on what Dan Orlovsky is saying, what have we seen that we could point to say, we should have seen this coming? Bean did this, and he did this. And those moves should equal what we see now.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Right. And so looking at that, it was like, well, now I got to really think about it. Because one of the things that people like to say is, well, Stefon Diggs not being here is part of the reason Josh could be like this. No.
Right.
I don't think that's right at all.
And
Because
if that is right, I don't want that.
Right, exactly. Because what we're seeing happen now, what's happening right in front of our face is Shakir is becoming the next Stefon Diggs.
Shakir? Oh, you mean
Shakir.
play on the field?
Yeah, as far as him being
Right.
targeted the most
Yep.
out of any receiver that we have. He's the guy. We need a
Oh,
play
it's
made.
obvious. Yeah.
He's the guy.
Obvious.
Right? And it's not even like the Bills went into the season trying to make him that, because as we saw against the Cardinals and against the Dolphins in our Coach D Corner film review, teams know on long third down and distance, Josh likes to go to the seam to the tight ends. That's the first read almost every time you get to that long down third down and distance, right? So what all that means is Kincaid or Knox is the look in the seam, and most of the time it's Kincaid, right? So what does that also translate as? Well, it translates as the defense has taken away your real number one guy.
Right.
It's Dalton Kincaid. They know that that's your best weapon. They take him away. So who's left to make a play? It's Shakir, right? And what we've seen over the last 2 weeks is Shakir's no longer the guy you go to whenever Kincaid is covered. Shakir is the guy you go to when you need a play. Shakir is the guy you go to when you need a first down, right? That's what a number one wide receiver is. Yep. If nothing else, that's what a number one wide receiver is. So to me, it really begs the question, how does Bean go about saying that, but not actually doing that? Because if you look at what the Bills did this year, it's essentially what they had to do because of salary cap restrictions, right? Otherwise, they probably would have traded for a guy like Ayuk.
Thomas. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe even CD Lamb, to a larger degree. But those are moves that we've seen the Bills make. They'll go out and get a guy. They'll go out and sign a guy. They're not opposed to doing stuff like that, right? But instead, they kind of raised the receiver floor by getting a bunch of, number 2 and number 3 receivers that in this scheme are effective, right? And the reason I say in this scheme is they didn't really do too much, anywhere else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But in what Joe Brady's calling, it's working, right? So what were the signs? What were the signs of what Brandon Bean was talking? It's almost like when you say something like that, it's one of those things where you're taking ownership in the public, but you're not actually taking ownership behind the scenes. And that to me is kind of what was frustrating about hearing that, because 2 years ago, what did we do in the offseason? Right? And I wanted to ask you to see if you can pull up the roster moves for, both the last 2 off seasons. Sure. Just to kind of go through and see if there was an actual plan or if this was complete bull. You know what I'm saying? Because I like that's what we're about.
Right.
You know what I mean? If it's BS, we're going to call it BS. We're going to call it out. But when I heard that, I was like, are you serious? This year is just happenstance. This can't be a plan. Mm-mm. We tripped into this.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about 2022, right?
Yes.
Okay, so 2022, you're looking at the biggest acquisition was Von Miller.
Okay.
Daquan Jones, Tim Settle, Roger Saffold, Jordan Phillips, O.J. Howard, Jamison Crowder, David Questenberry, Sam Martin, Tywan Jones, Greg Mance, Duke Johnson, Ike Blocker, Marquell Lee, Bobby Hart. I'm just going down because there's a reason for this. Tavon Austin, Jordan Simmons, and Justin Murray were guys we picked up. And to your point, we lost Cole Beasley the first time. Mm-hmm. Tavon Austin never made the team. Marquez Stevenson never did anything. So that's all our wide receivers that left. And we didn't bring anybody in for a serious competition. You know, and that's why I kind of went over Jamison Crowder. Well, I went over, you don't see anybody at tackle or where you're thinking about Spencer Brown's not going to be that great. You got Roger Saffold. Daquan Jones was good. Tim Settle was our third highest paid free agent that year. So what was the vision?
Right.
If you're putting people around Josh, there's nobody around Josh until number 7. We'll say 7 because O.J. Howard never played for us. Jamison Crowder I think he got hurt and didn't do anything for us. Questenberry was a bust, so he was on the bench.
Yep.
And Tywan Jones was a special teamer. Greg Mance never saw the light of day. Duke Johnson, nope. Ike Bottker, see, that was the one.
That was the year he got hurt, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was the one that probably was supposed to be something, and then he got hurt, and they said, you know what, we'll find somebody else.
Right.
So if we fast forward to 2023 real quick, just to solidify this for you, Connor McGovern, Jordan Poyer again, Deontay Hardy, Leonard Floyd, Jordan Phillips, Poona Ford, Taylor Rapp, Damian Harris, who never played, David Edwards, Trent Sherfield, Linval Joseph, AJ Klein, Shaq Lawson, Tavius Murray. Who played? Who's still here?
Who played?
Who's still here?
I mean, even if Bean wanted to say, okay, Hardy and Sherfield, no.
I would have kicked his chest in if I heard that.
Right. Because like you said, when did they play? If it was really supposed to be everybody eats, or let me put people around to make Josh feel like he doesn't have to play hero ball, these wasn't the guys for it.
Let me guess. Stefon Diggs said no. That's why he had to go, because he said he was a blocker. He was. I'm not going to say what kind of blocker, because you guys can fill in the blank.
Right, but again, Connor McGovern wasn't a guy that's supposed to make Josh feel like he didn't have to play hero ball. He came in as a guard.
Yeah,
like a guard on Josh Allen's offensive line is kind of irrelevant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As long as he's got that right guard and right tackle, and the center's playing good, he's straight. Mm-hmm. He can escape through that C gap and make plays all day long. Mm-hmm. And then Deion Dawkins has got his back. That's it. That left guard position is it's just okay.
A formality.
Right. So, I mean, none of this points to I was trying to get the team to where they are now. None of it. Right? Really quick, can you pull up the draft picks for the last 2 years also? Just so that we're covering all bases to make sure that this is an accurate, point, because
you already know I can put a draft picks. You already know. I was waiting for you to ask for that. Let's see. So we're going, let's see. I just got to get down to my handy dandy sector.
Yep.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay.
So we'll do
22.
We'll do this one first. Actually, you want to do 23 first?
Yes.
Okay. So 23, we drafted Kincaid, Torrance, and then Dorian Williams, Justin Shorter, Alex Austin, Nick Broker. That's what we took. So we started off good, and then petered off when we had nobody. And you knew that Gabe Davis and Stefon Diggs were on their ways out. I mean, whether or not you were going to cut Stefon Diggs or trade him, rather, I'm sorry, you didn't know. But Gabe Davis on the last, and they knew they weren't going to pay that man what he wanted. Right. So you should have got his replacement. 2022, we drafted Kyer Elam, James Cook, Terrell Bernard, Khalil Shakir. There it is. Luke Tenuta, Christian Benford, Matt Riza, Balin Spector.
But at that point in time, Khalil Shakir was drafted with the knowledge that Cole Beasley wouldn't be back.
Yep.
Because the book on Shakir is he would come in and he'd be a slot receiver.
Slot guy. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't even like you knew he would become what he is now. You
Right.
hoped,
Right.
but what else? James Cook. I mean, you can maybe point to that, but excuse me, you didn't anticipate using him the same way that he was used in college, right? Because he wasn't used that way by Ken Dorsey.
Yeah, you talking about this is third year now. He's 3 games into his third season. He's got 367 yards for 1,817 yards, or 367 carries, 1817, and 7 touchdowns. That's not what he did. I don't know if he had those numbers his whole career in college.
Right.
Khalil Shakir right now, he's 63 catches for 940 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. Sal, I'm sorry to disagree with you, but he says Bean is the best GM in the division, win the division to get to the dance. And I don't disagree that he's the best GM in the division, but I wouldn't want to hang my hat on that. It's a bad division.
GM wise, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. He is. But what is that really saying? When you got the Patriots in your division and you got the Dolphins
and Greer, yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Jets have done a pretty good job of drafting. I have to say that. They drafted Quinnen Williams. They drafted Sauce Gardner. They drafted Breece Hall. You know what I mean? So they have some good picks. Mm-hmm. But their issue has been, discipline within the franchise. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough structure in the franchise.
All the talent in the world, and that's the thing. That's the kind of team that McDermott would never draft because he doesn't like that kind of personality.
Right.
Garrett Wilson, who's yelling at Aaron Rodgers, and you got Quinnen Williams and his brother, who's the guy they had last year that was going at Deion Dawkins. They're about to fight. I forgot his name, but he had 3 names.
Quinnen's brother?
No, it wasn't Quinnen. It was
three
Hall
name.
or something like that. Was it? I don't know his name, but
yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, he was an edge rusher that got into it with Deion, and that's the one that Deion was like, "Don't talk to my quarterback ever." That guy. But I mean, Sauce Gardner. I mean, he's got hot sauce on his chain. We're not going to see that in Buffalo. We got wings.
Right.
We dying. You know what kind of money he can make in Buffalo with hot sauce on his neck? NILs be damned. This dude would be paid. Quinnen Williams. We got all those guys across the board on that team. With the ego, even they would be great in Buffalo, but you wouldn't see that kind of talent.
Oh, I should have waited. Outside looking in and said being the best GM in our division means next to nothing, Sal. I should have waited.
Well,
I'm sorry.
man.
Now I feel like I piled on.
No, you didn't. You didn't. Sal, no, we love him.
Yeah. Columbus Bully says, so McDermott is a bad coach, Bean is a bad GM, and we're top 5 in wins since they got here. Heard. Yes. And here's why that can be okay. Because Josh is that damn good. If you have a quarterback that can basically go out and put the team on his back and win games for you, it kind of doesn't matter what else you do. We're seeing that now. We're seeing that right now. The quarterback is good enough to carry the entire team. And he has the added benefit now of having an improved defense. That's why the team is undefeated now. That's why they're destroying bad teams like they were supposed to be doing every year before this, right? So for me, it's not, it's not just sitting here and saying, GM is not that good, head coach is terrible, and that's just what it is. No, what I'm trying to point out is at the same time that these guys are not where I would want them to be. At the same time as all that going on, here you have Josh being his effing best and saving the franchise from itself, essentially. He's saving the franchise from itself. Imagine what this team would be without Josh, and then you tell me that we have a great GM and a great head coach. Because essentially that's what this is.
I mean, you ran the numbers before. I'm going to say it again. And this is nothing I'm not taking side with you or Columbus, but you think about the last 4 years, what do we have? We had a marquee wide receiver to go with that quarterback, who he used all the time. So while fans are pounding this guy for getting 160 targets and demanding more, if he didn't, what would happen? If he didn't request and make the best out of the targets he got to go with over 1,000 yards in 4 straight seasons, 5 touchdowns or better in 4 straight seasons, be on pace to be the best wide receiver in Bills history in 4 seasons. Even Josh would not be able to have a winning record in the degree that he had, because this team right now is not sustainable right now with the defenses we had before.
Right.
Of giving us what we had the last 4 years with that team.
Right. Because and Bully, the question really becomes, can Mitch Trubisky do with the same squad what Josh is doing with the same squad? If the answer is yes, then yeah, you got a good head coach and you got a good GM. But if not, I'm sorry, that's where we are. Josh is saving the day every week. And the reason we're 3-0 is because of Josh. That's it. The reason we made the playoffs, because of Josh. All of this comes back to why I've been having such an issue with Sean McDermott, and to a much lighter degree, Brandon Beane, is that for what everybody is looking at as a team function in as far as, success and wins and things like that, I've been kind of seeing, through the curtain a little bit to what's really going on, which is Josh saving the hairs on everybody's butt. You know what I'm saying? With his play, with what he's doing, with taking all the hits because of the interceptions. And when I say hits, I mean media hits. Like people bashing on him because of all the interceptions. All of those interceptions happen when you're trying to do whatever the heck you can to win games, right? And for whatever you want to say as far as his comparison to Mahomes and Burrow got much better offensive coaches and head coaches than what Sean McDermott has accomplished here, right? Zach Taylor was with his team for, 3 years before they got to a Super Bowl? For 4 years, maybe 3 or 4 years, somewhere in there. We still have not been to one yet. They actually beat the Chiefs to get to one, right? And the Chiefs are who they are. They've dominated. Great offensive mind as a head coach. They've dominated the entire NFL. So, I think we gotta make a firm decision to choose whether it's head coach and GM that are great, or whether it's reality, which is it's Josh Allen that's great. Because I don't ever want to discourage somebody from loving their team. What I want to encourage is for people to just be aware and to really look past the fanaticism and the rah-rah and see what's actually going on, so that there can be some accountability. Because what we're seeing now, I think, is in part due to an increase in need for accountability. When national media starts to get on board with calling the Buffalo Bills out and saying that Sean McDermott might lose his job, guess who hears that? The man at the top of the mountain. Terry Pegula hears that. And I'm very sure that a conversation still happens, whether it's a polite conversation or not, but a conversation happens. Hey, Sean, man, listen, I love you like a son. We go way back, right? But the folks starting to talk now. There's a lot of noise going on around what's happening. We need to get this under control, right? And that becomes a reality check for Sean to understand, all right, let me take a step back.
Yeah, I mean, it lines up. You think about Sean's been here the whole time, but the parts have changed. You're looking at bad hires like Dorsey. You're looking at mismanagement of assets. You're looking at, some draft. Obviously, everybody's not going to be a draft pick hit. You're going to have some busts, but you let people like Torrance and Kincaid and those guys overshadow the ones that you missed on. The picks that you didn't really need. You look at where they spent money where they shouldn't have, and like we said numerous times, I am more along the lines of sitting here and watching Sean objectively see if he actually turns it around and does what he's been doing. And I damn sure want to keep Beane, whether Sean is here or not. But I think you can still be critical of some of the things that they've done. When they could have done other things, or they didn't have enough foresight, or they didn't read the tea leaves correctly.
Right.
You case in point, like I said, you have issues with Stefon Diggs. you don't restructure Stefon Diggs in order to save money, which is what we're seeing now.
Right. If you really have an
If
issue
you really have beef with him, you knew this already. You were concerned last year when you restructured this deal. So you pushed that money down the line, knowing you're going to have to pay the piper at some point.
Yep.
So you're telling me right now they knew by doing that they were going to get rid of him? No, they're not getting rid of him. They knew it wasn't this year. It was going to be next year at the earliest. But whatever happened went beyond reproach. They couldn't. It was irreconcilable. And Diggs went it out. He said, I wanted to shake differently or whatever he said. You know, you got to shake it up. No disrespect to Buffalo, no disrespect to Diggs, but the fact of the matter is some things like that inhibit you from doing things that matter later on down the line. That $31 million that you're eating right now, you could use that somewhere else. Yeah. You know, Devon Miller deal, yeah, he's playing out of his mind now, but who's to say that you couldn't have got, you know, Odafe Owe, who we'll see on Sunday, instead of drafting, you know, I'll say Greg Rousseau or somebody like that. You could have did something else. You know, Rousseau's playing great, but you know, at the time, you need a speed rusher. You didn't need two bookend run stuffers. Mm-hmm. You know, and when you watch the game on Sunday, you tell me who runs a 40 front, but they run a 2-6. Right. They don't run a 4-3. They don't run a 3-4. So we're talking about a nickel. They run a 2-6. What is that? You know, and they even bring Roquan Smith up, and I'm gonna get off of the weeds of this, but. What I can't understand when I went and watched the Ravens all 22, Roquan Smith comes up and makes it an odd front. He makes a 50 front, which is, you know, 5 guys on the line of scrimmage for guys that know what a 50 front is. But what he does is he drops back in coverage. When he drops back in coverage, he's the only one covering the whole middle of the field. What Kansas City did against him was they ran route structures that got him thinking. They had Rasheed Rice come out on a drag, and they had Kelsey pull him out just long enough for him not to think, who do I take? And Mahomes picked it apart. The middle was wide open the whole game. Yeah. So why would we force the ball to Mac Hollins and force the ball to Keon Coleman when you got Kincaid, you got Cook, who can catch it like this, not like this. You got, you know, Gabe Davis. You got not Gabe, Ray Davis. That's what I'm thinking about. Ty Johnson. You got these guys that can eat in the middle, and that's your dink and dunk. Neither one of these teams is going to go downfield. They shouldn't, because that's not their strength. You know, so. Yak is going to be king this week, and it's just whoever can out yak the other team is going to win the game.
Right. I agree with that 100%. Bully says, but I feel like every team not winning the Super Bowl is looking at their team the same way. I've been optimistic, and I won't fold. I've heard all the bashing, and we're 3-0. Go Bills.
Don't fold.
You know who else don't fold? This dude right here, Melly Mac, don't fold. Not ever, not one day. There's nothing that we can say that ever deters him, right? And I think – To a degree, if anything, he's seen and understood a lot of the logic that me and Keyshawn talk about, but that still never deters him. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what we want to do. No. We don't ever want to take away anybody's fanaticism about the team. That's not why we're here.
The fact you keep coming back lets me know you're listening.
Right? Yeah, that's true, because we've said a lot worse than what we just said.
You're listening. That's all that matters.
So hopefully you didn't take it that way. You know I love you, man. But for me, I think, and I think there was another comment he said, everybody's backup would not have the same level of success. Yes, right. But I think what brings the point home for me is Nathan Peterman was drafted before Josh Allen. Nathan Peterman was drafted in 2017, and for whatever somebody wants to say, oh well, that was Whaley's draft. Okay, they didn't have to pick all the players that Whaley put on the board, right? They still chose those players that were on Whaley's board at the end of the day. On top of that, when Josh was first drafted, Nathan Peterman, he wasn't the starter from the year before. He just became the starter the year that Josh was drafted. So
whose decision is that?
That was Sean McDermott's decision.
Exactly.
So Sean McDermott thought Mr. 5 interceptions in one game was the better option than going with Josh Allen. So, and again, this is Nathan Peterman's second year in the league. So those are like, you got to have some kind of trepidation, or just kind of being cautious about, being fanatical about something like that, because otherwise it just makes you look completely illogical. And I'm not saying that's you, but I mean, from someone looking through a logical lens like I do, right? I don't want to speak for you, but from someone who does that like I do, if you're happy that Nathan Peterman was the starter, and you were still cheering him on after he threw 5 interceptions in one game, I think the fanaticism becomes you just like rooting for the team, and if that's what it is, then okay. But what I don't think you can say after that is, you know, I want football moves that make sense. You get what I'm saying? Like you can't. It's kind of like wanting your cake and wanting to eat it too. You can't root for a team that makes terrible decisions, but at the same time want them to make good decisions. At some point, you got to understand all the bad decisions add up to, you know what, I'm gonna take a step back. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I like you,
Right.
but I don't like you enough to watch you destroy yourself. You know what I'm saying? Family members go through it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, to some degree, like, look, if I'm trying to help you and you don't want to help yourself, well, there's only so much I can do. I'll be here for you, you know, if you absolutely need something, and obviously that's my determination at that point. but I'll be here for you, you know, and that's kind of what I've been saying to the Bills throughout the drought. Like, I'll be here for you if you need me, you know what I'm saying? But if you ain't trying to help yourself, well, then I'll just kind of sit, you know, at home and I'll just watch from afar and. You know, and that's it. You know, I either that or if I'm going to the game, I'm gonna put it back on my head. One of the two things is happening at this point. You know,
shiesty now.
Right.
You can do that.
Right. So real quick, Rich says, so Andy Reid and Bill didn't have bad picks in the draft, trades that didn't work. A draft pick is a prediction of the potential of the player. No one knew Allen would be this level.
That's absolute facts.
Yeah.
Absolute facts.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm sorry.
No, you go.
I was gonna say I think the thing about this whole thing is I'd rather. How do I say this without him? I'd rather
Just say it.
No,
I'd rather bust out than yeah, I knew it. Than in a position that we need.
Right.
You know, if we know we need a I'm gonna like Buddy Nick said before he retired. I'm not leaving until we find a quarterback. You found the wrong one, but that's what he said. He knew we needed a quarterback. He thought that, you know, that's who we're gonna get and gonna take us to the promised land. So he did it. It was terrible, but at the same time, you miss all the shots you don't take.
Yeah, 100%. Sal says McDermott quickly learned from his mistakes, but yes, Josh has carried them like most good teams QBs do. Quickly is the only word in that I'm getting caught
Right.
up
I'm
on.
like,
Quickly?
7 years.
Yeah, it only took 7 years.
Yeah, it only took 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're getting into bashing people's comments. I don't want to do that.
No, we're not bad. I mean, it's
7:57.
Yeah, we gotta get
the
out
thing
of
is, you know, you look at Andy Reid, and I guess Andy Reid wasn't quick either, but he got fired first. You know, some people, they got to get fired in order to see the light. The Bills happen to be the team that said, you know what, it's okay, keep trying.
Yeah.
You're safe here. Just keep trying. You know, and you look at Sirianni, he won a Super Bowl, right? And they're like, yo, do it again. You can't do it in another year. Nah, you got to go.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy. Think about our coach in that environment.
Right.
There's no way.
Right.
You know, they did. Who was it? Somebody did a rundown of coaches. The Steelers and somebody else. The Steelers, was it the Patriots? I don't know. They had like 3 coaches in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
The Bills have had, I think they said, like 17 in the time that we've had. You know, so it's like,
Yeah, we even counted it up one time. Yeah.
So it's like, you know, what makes this guy special? I mean, I
Right.
get it. You know, he got to the playoffs, but put him in a Sirianni mode. Sirianni won a Super Bowl, and they trying to fire this man. McDermott got us to the divisional round, and they're like, let's give him another year. All you do, he's this close. No, he's not.
Think about all the other coaches that we've had, and then at the same time, think about how many franchise quarterbacks we've had.
Mm-hmm.
I can count 3 that we've had here,
That many, huh? Okay.
right?
Oh, you want Jim Kelly? Okay.
Josh Allen, Jim Kelly, and
Bledsoe?
no, not Bledsoe.
I'm about to say that was one good year.
Didn't we had another guy in the 70s? Didn't we?
Oh, Ferguson? Nah, not Ferguson.
Is it Ferguson? I
They
think
had
that's what I was
Ferguson,
thinking about.
but
Ferguson.
yeah, Kemp way back. So
Okay. So 4, right?
Yeah.
4. So 4 franchise QBs and 3 head coaches that people can point to and say they were all-time great head coaches, right? And yes, I am lumping
McDermott's
Sean
one
in
of
that because he's got the wins,
number
right?
2, yep.
So with that being said, and we got to get out of here 7:59. With that being said, I think
I'm
it's
so fired. No,
I think the natural thought for me is it's more about the quarterbacks they had. And any franchise will tell you that you got a franchise quarterback, your head coach is going to get at least 3 to 5 years. You know what I mean? And if the quarterback is Josh Allen good, well, then you'll get longer than that.
yeah, I think those that and what was a Columbus Bully. I think that's why I'm like, man, 24 to 21 because I can never have nice things. That's where I'll close.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Let me get you out of here because we also got another show coming up on the network, and I don't want to run past their time as well. All right, here we go. Okay, listen. Thank you, everybody, for chatting with us, for sitting with us, for being a fly on the wall in a room full of a lot of talking. You know what I mean? We really appreciate you guys, and I want you to know that I don't ever want to feel like I'm bashing comments and stuff like that, so I apologize if that's what any of this felt like. Obviously, we're going to have disagreements and stuff like that, but it's all cool. We're just talking ball, right? So if you guys could, if you haven't done so already, please, please, please hit the like and subscribe button and hit that bell to make that thing
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
so that you can get all the notifications for all our newest content that comes out. As annoying as it might be, because I hate when those notifications pop up, but it is necessary so I can stay in touch with everything I need to stay in touch with. Now, here's the deal. We also have our social media links in the description of this video, right? So if there's anything you want to see us discuss, whether it's on the podcast here, whether it's in Coach D's Corner, any type of film review or anything like that, any ideas you have for the show at all, I'm still working on the Dookie Juice Award. My wife is going to go to Michael's very soon, and we're going to do that up. So we're going to be able to have the Dookie Juice Award after every game, pretty much, whatever episode. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So looking forward to that. Also looking forward to the video game series that we're going to start doing on the channel. Again, that's coming up later this fall, probably December, I would say. We should have everything set up to do that. We can probably do that here, too. Unless we can play online, but that's a whole lot of work. All right, anyway, we'll talk about that after the show. So thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been the Post Podium Pod. Oh, whoa! How did you let me get that far? How did you let me get that far? Please take it away, sir.
I'm like, you ain't do it.
Take it away. This is your job.
All right. Reed's tea, 1 part refreshing, 1 part delicious, 2 parts healthy. That's what you can expect when there's only 4. Count on 4 ingredients. I don't even drink tea, and well, let me tell you, that's a good drink there. So what are you doing? Head on over to Reed's. Get you a supply by the case or individual. Why would you do that, though? Get the case. Thank me later.
Right. Thank him later.
You
Yes.
won't be disappointed, but what do I know? See for yourself.
That's
Reed's
it.
tea. Click the link in the description. Use the code word DO. Let them know who sent you.
All right. There you have it. Listen, this has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
It's 40 keys.
And for the producer, we out of here. Y'all have a good night.
Peace.